Watching Illaoi the laning phases hurts my eyes and soul. You guys let the enemy laner get away with murder the entire laning phase. They'll practically be handing you a free kill and all you have to do is press your buttons and take it, but you don't. Sometimes you even run away from free kills. It's mind blowing. You think I'm over exaggerating though, I bet. So today I'm going to show you what I mean using some random gameplays from Gold ELO. Let's just jump right into the first game where we have a Yone vs Darius. Right at the start of the lane, both players are going to be playing completely wrong. Yone is spamming Q on the wave, which would get punished if Darius knew what he was doing. Darius should start W and can actually kill Yone at level 1 if he's not careful. Darius can basically force Yone to use his Q to grab a last hit safely. If Yone walks up to auto it because his Q is down, because he's spamming it, Darius can just auto W combo. But Darius started Q, so Yone isn't getting punished for this mindless Q spam. Then, when Darius decides he wants to trade with Yone here, as Yone walks up for the last hit, he starts with an auto, which gives him aggro of all of these minions. Then, he looks to land Q as Yone runs away. Yone has the minion advantage here though, and because Darius started Q, Yone could just walk into melee range of Darius here and all in. Darius' Q does about a third of the damage if you get hit by the handle of the Q. It doesn't apply a stack of Darius' passive bleed, and it doesn't heal him. The cooldown is 9 seconds compared to his W being 5 seconds. So this is what I mean by the enemy actually throwing themselves at you, begging to lose a trade or even die, but you guys will run away. Yone can just win the lane here. But let's keep going. Now Yone is going to walk up and land a nice Q on Darius, so Darius turns back around and is trying to return some damage. He decides against it though eventually, and Yone hits him with an auto attack for free and misses his Q. Darius walks into Yone's minion wave yet again to try and use Q, so the situation is the same as before. If Yone just walks into melee range of Darius and avoids the edge, he'll win the trade hard with his low cooldown Q. Alright, now Yone is hitting some minions while Darius approaches him, and we're going to pause here. Let's test your knowledge. Who's trolling? What should happen here after I unpause this clip? It should be very obvious right now that Yone will hit level 2 first, and Darius is hard trolling by being anywhere near him here. Yone will level up as soon as this minion dies, and Darius is pretty far away from his tower, so Yone has plenty of time to run him down and at least make him use a summoner spell. But Yone does exactly what I always see, and lets Darius get away with murder yet again. Darius is just running at him begging to die to Yone level 2 spike, but Yone doesn't want the free kill. It gets worse too, because even after Darius sees Yone level up, he still walks forward like this, begging to die. And Yone just whiffs his W instead, still not taking advantage of his level 2. And then after whiffing his W, he then decides to try and land his third Q on Darius from max range. So the odds of him hitting it are much smaller. If he just walked up to Darius, he can basically throw it point blank, but there's no real point after whiffing W before this. Darius actually takes advantage of all of this trolling and walks up to use Q, which also gives him level 2. Yone is completely screwed at this point and also still hasn't popped his potion. Funnily enough, Darius almost lets him get away with this though, because he leveled up E instead of W. If Yone flashed here, he would live even though he should never be able to survive this. Darius should have popped Ghost as soon as he hit level 2 and then used his W. If Yone flashed, Darius would just catch up to him because of the slow and extra movement speed from Ghost. But luckily for him, Yone died to the last tick of his bleed. So this was only about 1 minute of laning, and both players were letting the other troll in front of their face multiple times. But let's go to another example. In this game, we have a Malphite versus Fiora. Sometimes getting away with murder doesn't just mean you could have killed really easily, it basically just means you had a way to get a really big lead and didn't capitalize on it. In this lane, both of these players make the exact same mistake. I'm not going to give it away yet though, I'm going to see if you guys can spot the mistake yourselves. We're going to pick up here, where the wave is in front of Malphite's tower and Kindred is coming around to gank the Fiora. The gank works out perfectly, and they even get Fiora's flash. Malphite starts pushing the wave towards Fiora, and as soon as Fiora respawns, she TPs into the brush hoping Malphite wouldn't see her, but he backs off. If we watch Fiora now while Malphite recalls, she starts pushing the wave back towards Malphite. Malphite doesn't TP back to lane and just walks back. For the next minute or so, Malphite and Fiora are going to be trading back and forth pretty evenly, but Fiora takes a couple tower shots. And in this last trade, Fiora mistimes her W, so she's too low to stay in lane. She doesn't have TP and Malphite does, so she backs off to recall and Malphite pushes the wave like this before recalling himself. Alright, so they have both made the same big mistake that prevented them from getting a lead over the other. Did you spot it? The mistake was, not freezing when the other laner was resetting on a bad wave. Malphite did it first, right after they killed Fiora with the Kindred gank. The wave was pushing to him, so he should have recalled right away and walked the lane or TP'd. But because he started pushing it towards Fiora, she actually didn't need to use her TP anymore and could have saved it. If Malphite froze, she would have been forced to TP. Then, right after Malphite shoved the wave back towards her and she TP'd in, it was frozen on her side, where she could do the exact thing we were talking about and it would force Malphite to TP in or fall massively behind. But she pushed it towards Malphite so he didn't lose anything for walking back to lane. Finally, Malphite ended up winning the sustain war since Fiora took some tower shots and the wave was pushing to Malphite when Fiora decided she needed a recall. Malphite should have frozen the wave there as well, and he would get a huge lead because Fiora would be missing minions the entire time she's gone, as her wave basically kills Malphite's wave. But he pushed it back towards her yet again, so she didn't really miss anything. Alright, for this last gameplay, we're going to look at a Jax vs Illaoi, again in gold. I wanted to make sure to include an Illaoi gameplay in this video because it's a bit personal. Illaoi is the worst champion in the game because she has way too much counterplay, and I like playing her, but she's a low elo stomper, and we're going to see why. But to start things off, Illaoi is AFK at her tower while Jax is in lane, so Jax should hit a minion once or twice to get the push advantage for level 2 spike, but then not push much faster. He wants to stack up 3 waves to push to Illaoi's tower. He didn't hit any minions though, so he missed the last hit as they were all dying at the same time. Then we see a glimmer of hope as Jax postures aggressively, looking to trade with Illaoi level 1 if she walks up, which is good since Illaoi is basically a cannon minion until level 6. Illaoi doesn't walk up though, so nothing really happens here. Our first issue comes up as the next wave gets here. Jax backs off and doesn't continue that level 1 pressure, and when he eventually goes in, Illaoi actually hits level 2 first. So how is it possible that Jax lets an AFK at level 1 Illaoi hit level 2 before him? This is because he was never hitting minions to get that small push advantage we talked about. And this should never happen. He turns around and avoids Illaoi though just barely, then goes back in as he hits level 2 and uses his E very late. He needed to auto then E right away to avoid any minion damage, but the trade ends up being even. After this, Jax gets basically zoned off the wave, which lets Illaoi start slow pushing towards him. This is completely backwards. Jax should be slow pushing like we talked about earlier. This is going to be a big deal since now Illaoi will hit level 3 first, so Jax won't be able to fight her. So he's going to sit back here while Illaoi clears the wave. And for who knows what reason, he decides this is the time to trade with Illaoi, when she has a legion of minions, and a level advantage, and a health advantage. And she has her one important ability up, which is her E. Without her E, she's not that scary even with all these minions. She basically goes from a cannon minion to a melee minion. Naturally, Illaoi just presses her buttons and Jax is forced to flash away. Illaoi should just auto the spirit one more time to kill it, which would slow Jax. Then she could walk up and W him to finish him as it comes up, but she flashes in and auto attacks the counter strike so she doesn't get the kill. This is actually getting away with murder, but I actually used this clip to show the Jax trolling as it's more important than the Illaoi specific execution here. But now that Olaf tries to gank Illaoi, but she has the entire wave and Olaf doesn't dodge anything, so he's forced to flash away as well. I guess Illaoi really just is OP. Olaf could have killed her here though, for the record. But the point here was, all of this happened because Jax didn't auto minions just a few times at level 1 and get the push advantage so he wouldn't hit level 2 first like he's supposed to. That mistake was huge and now you see why. Of course, trying to trade with Illaoi when he was level 2 and she was level 3 was a huge misplay as well, but that situation should have never came up, as Jax should have been the one slow pushing, especially when Illaoi was actually AFK at level 1. Alright guys, so as you can see, some serious trolling goes on in these laning phases, and I see it in every single gold game that I open. Literally. You have plenty of chances to get some very free kills every lane, you just need to take advantage of it and see it.
Now, what you find here on YouTube is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to unlock your true potential, then you need to dive into SkillCapped.com. We have the largest catalog of League of Legends guides in the entire world, with over 1,500 guides and 350 unique courses. You get brand new guides every week exclusive to our website, along with our Smurf commentaries where our challenger experts walk you through how to carry out of the exact rank you're stuck in. Still unsure? Well, you can have all your questions answered by those same challenger experts. Need one-on-one coaching? We got you covered with hand-picked coaches trained to the highest standard. Don't have time for that? Use Direct Pro, pick a past game you played, and within 24 hours get a personalized video from a top 100 challenger player breaking down exactly what you can do better. The best part, all of this comes with a rank improvement guarantee. If you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a refund, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Head to SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted, link in the description below.
But that's going to bring us to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.